I want to welcome all of you to our webinar today on scale-out storage for video surveillance with Cloudian and Milestone. Joining us today are Amit Rolani, Director of Tech Alliances at Cloudian, and Jeremy Scott, Strategic Alliances Program Manager for the Americas. I'll let Jeremy take it from here. Jeremy?
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I certainly appreciate everybody getting on board. As was previously mentioned, I'm the Strategic Alliances Program Manager for the Americas here at Milestone Systems. And we'll start off. I'll go through and talk a little bit about the industry, the video surveillance industry, and Milestone as a whole. Just a brief background for myself. I've been in the industry. I'm in my 27th year, 5 years here at Milestone. So I range from being an installation field technician in my first 14 years and going through and getting a couple of computer certifications and a couple of degrees, and moved into a pre-sales role, and then went through PMP and became a project manager until I landed as a sales guy, and now I am managing all of our strategic partners in our community here at Milestone. So just a quick commercial about myself there. So what we're going to talk about to start is, I titled this slide A Path to a Service Architecture. I did that because, I want to start off, as you'll see on this slide here, on the state of video management as it sits today. And so this is a really good starting point, I think, for us to talk about why Cloudian and Milestone became community partners and integration partners through the innovative technology that Cloudian has. So in the state of our video management systems today, there's individual mature technologies, as you can see on the screen, developing community immature, but there's very immature interoperability. Due to the obvious things that you're seeing there, aging code and APIs, cyber and privacy, emerging tech, and the like. And we've all heard this cloud buzz, and I put a question in there: is it real? And I want to just quickly answer that and say, yeah, the cloud buzz is real. I think what's not real is the transition from what we do traditionally today and how we get to the cloud with regards to whether it's streaming video to the cloud, storing video in the cloud, or services in the cloud, et cetera. So I'd like to challenge everybody here to maybe think about that a little bit as we move forward with the presentation. But yes, we've been around for a long time, but we still have to continue improving in how we work together, which is why collaboration between partners like Milestone, or Cloudian and Milestone, are so important. Because of the above, we need to make some changes to facilitate better interoperability. So collaboration is very important here. Rapid response to cyber is also important, but it's difficult to reach end users with critical updates in the current client-server climate. And overall, cooperation is much improved with IT, but considering, I come from the physical security space, there are things in IT and technology that most traditional physical security folks don't get or understand. So these partnerships help drive that innovation and help raise the bar and educate, the people that are in our industry. So that's super important, I believe, as well. Excuse me. So moving on here to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about some evaluation criteria that we have today and how we can move forward and moving forward. So how do end users evaluate this type of technology today? What's the best-in-class scorecard for this category? So as you can see, there's some specific criteria there, acquisition costs and operations opportunity, agile response to cyber threats, accommodating increasing data demands, and this is where Cloudian certainly steps up to the plate. Specifically with tested and certified and supported solutions, flexible architecture, whether it be cloud or on-prem or even a hybrid. Privacy is a huge concern. We're owned and operated out of Copenhagen, Denmark, and GDPR is very important. It's the law actually in Europe in protecting people's privacy. And then we want to, we've got automation and augmentation that we need to address, and low latency is certainly a priority. So, these are just consideration criteria as we figure out what systems to build and collaborate on moving forward. So then we're taking our journey from where we are today in our industry to a cloud services architecture, and you'll see on the screen I put in there, security 4.0. I mean, we've gone through a few versions of security, from physical security kind of moving on up through as IT and network and IP cameras become more prevalent in our industry. So, we have a couple things to talk about when it comes to cloud. There's cloud applications, as you can see. It's a set of architecture principles and design patterns that enable applications on demand and economy of scale, right? And then we have cloud compute, right? A style of computing which is scalable and elastic capabilities are delivered as a service using internet technologies, right? So as we move forward with that, the next thing that we kind of consider as maybe an intermediary between where we are today and the cloud is what some of us have termed, I'm sure this is a valid term, the fog, which is we consider as edge computing, part of a distributed computing technology that has depth, where information processing is located close to the edge. So, latency, data, privacy, security, limited authority, etc. And this is really important because, that's as we can leverage those edge things as a mix with an on-prem and cloud solution, it gives us a more clear path moving forward. So what we do is we say scaling VMS to the cloud. So one of the things that's kind of a buzzword here at Milestone is the deconstructed VMS. And with the deconstructed VMS, what you'll see here on the screen are several components of a video management software, which is what VMS stands for. Things like video storage, system administration, system configurations, video processing, video analytics, and metadata. Those are all different things that build a VMS. And with Milestone, it's all encompassing, right? But as we change our mindset and move forward with newer innovations, we can do what we call deconstruct that VMS. And really what that means is, as we have a solution where we're going to do maybe we want to do some things on premises and some things in the cloud, we can move a couple of items such as configurations and video processing or storage on-prem, for instance, and we can take some of these other things like analytics and other features and move those things into the cloud. And the really nice thing about being able to do this, is we can, as our needs and things change, as our needs change and our business grows, or your business grows, we can move these things around, right? So we can take things that maybe were on-prem and move them to the cloud. It gives a really nice flexibility and economy to scale. So, I guess the key takeaways that I want to bring out here are, we want to always have an agile mindset. This allows us to always be relevant and make sure that we have the best features moving forward and keeping them relevant as we go through upgrades. We want to try to automate operations and streamline that. Focus on innovation. We've talked about innovation, which we'll get into here a little further. And then we want to invest in the community. We talk about community here at Milestone. We are, as you'll see here in a couple slides, we're an open platform as opposed to an end-to-end closed solution. And there's some strategic reasons why, which we'll make evident as I get into the Milestone product itself. And then, of course, the deconstructed VMS. If there's no questions or comments, I know we want to say those to the end, but if there's something that you saw or heard, let's get a quick question typed in there, and that way we can note those. I'd like to jump right into who Milestone is as a product. We have a product called XProtect. It is our video management software suite. We are leading the market. We're the #1 VMS manufacturer worldwide for the 14th year in a row. And the slide's just a tiny bit out of date. With our last software release here in February, we've gone over the 7,000 cameras supported. threshold, and that's not just 7,000 cameras, with on-VIF, which is a standard for network video. Only 3 of the 7,000 plus cameras supported are actually on-VIF profiles, so those are individual driver support. We have over 150,000 unique installations, and we're over 200 software integrations into our platform community. So this slide talks a little bit about who we are as an open platform. There are different components in here. You can see server, storage, cameras, hardware, integrations, point of sale, things of that nature, with Milestone sitting in the middle as the platform. And as we get into the next slide or two, we'll talk about what open platform means versus a closed platform. But our SDK and API allow companies like Cloudian to come in with a innovative solution and integrate it directly into the Milestone software suite. So here are the hallmarks of an open platform. We have an API. We actually have many APIs, which are application program interfaces. I'm pretty sure everybody on this webinar knows what that is, but these are purpose-built for integration, encapsulated around an SDK or software development kit. It's a toolkit just to enable these partnerships. We also have a long-term dedicated partner-focused program, and this includes our technology partner program, which Cloudian is a gold partner here at Milestone. In certification, we want high-quality solutions and predictable results. So we have verification and certification processes that we demand as we move forward with talking about and rolling out these integrations. And then we walk the walk, right? We demonstrate these behaviors. We don't just talk about it. We want to demonstrate these behaviors, and hopefully you'll see that with our partnership here. And so open platform. This is really these bullet points talk about yes, it's a little more complex on the sales side, but there's less reseller competition. We also can go in with the best-in-class solutions. We're not tied down to something specific that we've developed and keeps you in that closed mindset. It gives the customer the freedom to make these choices for best-in-class solutions. It also helps us be future-proof because of that agile mindset. And then higher customer stickiness is really important. The more services and integrations that we can offer, the more our partners stick with us and Cloudian in this case. Whereas opposed to an end-to-end solution is more of a closed platform. Yes, it's a bit easier to sell, but everybody also sells it. They have limited solutions, customers locked in. It's not sustainable or scalable, and there's lower customer loyalty. And so I think it's really important just to understand, why we are open platform versus an end-to-end. And real quickly, can't finish this up without a quick commercial about who we are as a company. So we say access your video anytime, anywhere with our smart client, which is a thick client loaded on a workstation, a PC workstation. We have a web client that's supported in any browser, and then we also have a mobile client that's Android and iOS. So our clients are what makes us stand out in the daily user of our software. The key differentiator for Milestone, right? 90% of our customer base only interacts with our software with these 3 applications. They're all 3 free when you purchase a base license with Milestone, and they're unlicensed, and which means there's no seat licensing. So if you have 100 people that need access, you can spin those up on as many devices as you need without additional fees. But it allows you to easily view cameras live, find incidents, playback, and export recordings. So real quick, our smart client, powerful, task-based interface. Our tagline that I like to use is we can go from incident to export quicker than anybody else on the market. So this is the majority of the people that use Milestone use this smart client. It's purpose-built for ease of use with operator efficiency being a priority. The interface is customizable to adjust for user skill levels and responsibilities. And this can be done as a profile for groups or individual. depending on how you interact with it within your environment. It has advanced search features built in. Smart Search and Sequence Explorer help customers find incidents very quickly to save time and money. Also, because we're an open platform, we're able to allow command and control of third-party systems. It could be access control or video analytics within our application itself. Just this year, we're releasing metadata indexing services through our VPS, which is video processing server. It allows us to do more of that natively within the Milestone system here. Very quickly, we'll talk a little bit about the Milestone mobile client. It's a free download. You can download it today. There's a really nice demo that's involved there, so it'll actually walk you through. You can see it. We can view live and export live and recorded video from the smartphone, and we can receive push notification alerts when something needs attending to. So any alarms or notifications that come in through the Milestone system as a whole can be pushed directly to the mobile application. Again, it's also free. And then we also have our web client, which is works, like I said, works in any web browser. It's intuitive, web-based interface, works with all common browsers and operating systems. Access the most commonly used surveillance functions. It does run on HTML5, doesn't require any software installation or plugins. Web client is streamlined for a simple interface and a really nice option for remote or even basic users. Something I'd like to point out with our mobile client, I put this in as a feature focus for us, is something we call video push. This is a really unique feature set. And what video push is, it basically turns your mobile device, whether it's a phone or a tablet, into a handheld camera, for instance. And we can use the camera on that device and push that video directly into the Milestone interface. So it can be stored securely on the server. Nothing stays on the device. But we can share real-time video with live operators and first responders and things of that nature. So that's who we are as a whole. I know that was kind of a mile-high view. Here's a quick product overview. We have 5 generalized products. We have a very nice feature-rich product at the base level. It's called XProtect Essential Plus. It's actually free, up to 8 cameras. So it's great for residential or small retail applications. It's pretty robust and it's completely upgradable as needs may change. And then you'll see additional feature sets as you move up the chain here, from Express Plus to Professional Plus, Expert, and Corporate. Corporate, multi-site, multi-server, and again, we can cover pretty much any version or brand of installation out there. So with that, I will turn it over to my friend Amit, and he can talk a little bit more about the Cloudian and how it works with Milestone. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Jeremy. That was an excellent presentation on Milestone and all the challenges that are faced in the video surveillance space and how you guys are addressing them. On our part, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Amit Rolani. I'm the Director of Technology Alliances and Solutions Marketing at Cloudian. A quick introduction on who and what is Cloudian. So Cloudian is an object storage company. It's based out of the Silicon Valley, and our fundamentals are based on our flagship product, which is an object storage, S3-based object storage, designed for specifically manage large amounts of data. We are a well-funded startup. We have over $175 million in funding at last count, and we have large institutional as well as venture-based investors that have backed the company for a long time. We have already over 300 plus customers in various different industries, including deploying use cases in the video surveillance space. And strategically, we are aligned and partnered with some of the large players in the industries, specifically in the infrastructure, the cloud, and the video surveillance space. On strategic partnerships, we have strategic partnerships with the likes of HPE, Lenovo, and Cisco, where we partner closely with each of these vendors in various markets. So what does the Cloudian family look like? So we have our flagship product, HyperStor, which is an S3-based object store. Now, in that, we are a little different from some of the other object storage vendors in the market. Our object store is purely based on S3, and it's actually formed on the whole principle of keeping an open S3 standard as our fundamentals. We are bit by bit compatible to all the S3 APIs that you would expect in the AWS S3 environment, and any applications that are created for AWS S3 would work seamlessly on HyperStor. It is a scale-out architecture, just like the one that you find in the public cloud environments, and we offer integrated data protection. I'll get into some of the details at a later point. We also have our file-based product, Hyperfile. This gives you a nice file interface to our capacity object storage at the backend, offering you file services, whether it's Windows or Linux, snapshotting, capability to do worm, and also Active Directory integration into accessing the data in our systems. All in all, think about us as providing cloud technology within your data center with all the privacy and security features that are required by your business. Okay. Where does Cloudian fit? So we see storage as divided into two specific tiers. So there's a performance tiers where you have some of our partners like the Pure Systems, the Quantums of the world playing. And then there is the capacity data where the performance in terms of I/O is not the key, but it is really the throughput of how you can ingest, how much data you can ingest and how much capacity you can provide. That is where Cloudian plays. So we are very clearly focused on the capacity tier for large scale application and storage needs. Okay. I'll touch upon how we integrate with Milestone and why it is important and essential for you guys to know how Cloudian actually fits in. So the challenges that our customers have been talking about from the video surveillance space have been twofold. So the requirement for storage has been increasing in the video surveillance space. Now, there are multiple reasons for this. One is just the fact that there are more and more cameras being deployed by various different industries for the video surveillance applications. The new cameras come in various different resolutions. The higher the better. You can actually zoom in on certain features of whether it's an asset you're trying to surveil, or it is just trying to geofence an area and trying to figure out activities in that area. So the resolution of the video actually creates larger video files, and that requires the storage capacity to be larger. There's also regulatory requirements. For example, places like California require most of the video surveillance data in the public spaces to be stored for at least a year worth of time, and that also requires more storage space for the video data that's being generated. The applications that are being built on top of video surveillance are actually getting more intelligent. So you can imagine that the traditional way video surveillance was done was a person sitting in a control room monitoring multiple different cameras and trying to figure out in live scenarios what's happening when, where. And if there was any incident that was reported, the person would actually have to retrieve data, manually view it, and figure out what's happening. Now with the advent of AI machine learning, there is a need for the data stored to be stored in an intelligent fashion. Now, This actually talks about being able to tag your video data in real time so that at a later point it can be searched with meta tags. Using the meta tags, you can probably run intelligent machine learning algorithms to figure out patterns in the data or figure out things like license plates and so on and so forth. And also being able to search through this data seamlessly, whether it is live or it is in under archive, is another requirement that is coming in. Accessibility to this data is obviously key. So in the past, when archive when you had archive use cases, tape was a low-cost means to do that. But with the accessibility requirement, that is also becoming a bottleneck. With that, talking about the Cloudian and Milestone solution together. Now, Cloudian is a perfect capacity solution, capacity storage solution behind Milestone. We are the only certified object storage solution with Milestone. Now, the Milestone certification is, as Jeremy mentioned, is a very stringent certification process, and Milestone makes sure on the solution stability, capability, and so on and so forth. So this is a traditional workflow, and this shows how Cloudian HyperStor hyperfile solution fits behind the MileStone Xprotect VMS. We are certified in two different capacities with Milestone. So there is the live recording database, which sits behind the recording server. So hyperfile is certified for that use case. And then there is the archive tier, which is the hyperfile hyperstore solution, which is also a certified use case for Cloudian with Milestone. In this particular solution, we also are able to tier to the public cloud for disaster recovery use cases, giving our customers a hybrid cloud solution behind MileStone Xprotect. So this is a traditional workflow. We also are able to offer a simplified workflow behind MileStone Xprotect to our video surveillance customers. In the previous example, let me just go back once. In the traditional workflow, the way things work is MileStone Xprotect keeps track of the data being stored in the live database, which is hyperfile. There is a policy defined in the XProtect system, which may be a time-based policy automatically it may be a capacity-based policy. Based on the policy being triggered, data is then automatically moved by XProtect from hyperfile to hyperstore onto the archive tier. Now, what this does is it keeps the work of actual data tracking and movement with XProtect, and it is a little more CPU intensive for XProtect on that front. In the new collapsed workflow or simplified workflow as we talk, it's a similar workflow, but we are moving the tracking and movement of data from the live to archive tier onto hyperfile. Now, hyperfile keeps track of how the data is filling up in the live database, and depending on capacity or time duration that has been defined in policy on hyperfile, that data gets moved to hyperstore and creates an active archive that can be searched and tracked. The good thing about this is this frees up XProtect to do higher level functions, whether it is application of machine learning, AI algorithms, or some other such kind of functions which can bring more intelligence to the whole system. Okay. So very strong use cases with Milestone and Cloudian together. So the value prop of having Cloudian with Milestone is is some of our key benefits here. So Cloudian actually provides exabyte scalability behind Milestone. So now, as the data needs for video surveillance grows, with Cloudian, you can start small as a 3-node cluster, and you can grow as the capacity requirement grows with your surveillance needs. Uh, we can actually start as low as 3 nodes and scale limitlessly. And it's as simple as adding servers to the solution to grow. Search and analytics. So with Cloudian, each object stored is associated with custom metadata. So we can tag the objects with video objects with specific information that can be later accessed, searched, visualized, and we provide integrations with Elasticsearch and Kibana to be able to do that in quick manner. This gives you rich analytics with the custom metadata that gets stored with data in Cloudian. Integrated data protection. This is one of our key features. So we offer data protection in two specific manners. So replication for disaster recovery. Each copy of data is stored X amount of time depending on how we define the replication needs. We can have as many as 2x or 3x replication of data. We also support erasure coding, which is a more efficient manner of data protection. And this is, think about this as a almost like a parity kind of system where data can be recovered. For every 1 bit lost, you just need to have lesser than that in parity stored. So this is a more efficient way of ensuring data protection. With our integrated data protection, we can offer as much as 14 nines of reliability for the data under storage. And finally, we offer multi-site deployments. So we offer we are a completely distributed storage system and can be deployed in multiple data centers. We support a hybrid cloud deployment, and we also support multiple different public clouds. So we have integrated support with AWS, Azure, as well as Google Cloud for various use cases. Quick showcase on some of the customers that are already using Cloudian for video surveillance applications. So this is a public transportation surveillance system that's running on Cloudian. So the requirement here was for this bus transportation system to ensure the safety of their riders, which amount in thousands daily. Each of the buses were associated with 5 different cameras, and the requirement was to be able to quickly ingest the data from the buses coming in, be able to search the data based on rich metadata tagging, and be able to pinpoint safety and security issues as they occur. And even if an incident was reported, be able to search through the day's video data and be able to quickly pinpoint the issue as they occur. Now, the previous systems had issues with quick uploads of data. Most of the time, it would take a couple of days for data to get ready for analysis and search. And even then, to be able to store the data in NAS systems to make it searchable, the budget would only allow for up to 3 months of data to be stored. The rest of the data was being discarded. Now, with the regulations in California coming up to more than a year, it became very clear that this particular customer needed a more scalable solution to be able to meet the regulations as well as service the safety and security needs of the customer. The solution here was a 3-node Cloudian cluster, and they had specific requirements on being able to have metadata tags which are custom in length, So standard metadata tags can start as low as 2K on size, and with Cloudian we were able to support more than 8K of metadata tagging with this. And this is a currently deployed solution. We also have some case studies on our website about this. Next, I wanted to quickly touch on a similar use case, but in this case, the requirement was to be able to ingest data quickly from body cams worn on police officers that are in the field, body cams and dashboard cameras. They already had existing VMS and body cam systems, so the compatibility was key. So Cloudian is compatible with the likes of Milestone and other vendors, and we also have cloud compatibility, which was another key requirement for this particular use case. So in this solution, we started with a 6-node cluster, starting as low as 600 terabytes of usable capacity for under storage, and replication of this data into AWS S3 for disaster recovery. Now the sites are growing, and we are able to manage all that video surveillance data in this particular sheriff's department. And then finally, digital evidence management. The reason why I bring up this use case, even though it's pretty straightforward, where the court is, this international court is actually using Cloudian to just store video evidence data that's been submitted for analysis. The reason here is to point out the capabilities that we have in Cloudian for Worm, which is write once and read multiple times. This ensures that the data submitted is tamper-proof and can be accessed and used as the single source of truth in criminal investigation cases. This was done with our strategic partner Lenovo and is also a current deployment. So that was a high-level summary on Cloudian and how we have our solutions in the video surveillance space. We are closely tied up with our partner Milestone, and one of the only object storage vendor that's certified with Milestone solution. We are also listed in the Milestone marketplace for anybody to go and request information. In short, I'll leave you with this. Easy to manage, start small and grow as you need. We have a very rich feature set for storage, object storage, and we have proven deployments worldwide, including in various video surveillance use cases across various industries.
Respectful of everyone's time, I think we're coming up to the 45-minute mark, so we still have a couple more questions, but we will send these answers out in a follow-up email. Just again, thank you very much for everyone who has joined. We look forward to seeing you at the next webinar, and please again follow us on Twitter, Cloudian Storage, and Milestone Sys. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you.